Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item. Current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
I hate the world today. You're so good to me, I know, but I can't change. Tried to tell you, but you look at me like maybe I'm an angel underneath, innocent and sweet. Yesterday I cried. Must have been relieved to see the softer side. I can understand how you'd be so confused. I don't envy you. I'm a little bit of everything, all rolled into one.
I'm a bitch. I'm a lover. I'm a child. I'm a mother. I'm a sinner. I'm a saint. Whoa ha 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 ha. Whoa ha ha. Whoa ha ha ha. Whoa ha ha. Whoa ha ha ha. Whoa ha ha ha. Whoa ha ha. Whoa ha 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 ha.
Whoa ha ha, whoa ha ha, whoa ha, whoa ha ha, whoa ha ha ha, whoa ha ha.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Blackest Show About Nothing. It's Jaden XD.
We're bitches.
At home again. It's giving pandemic vibes.
Quarantine.
We are for the second week in a row back at my very humble Kim Kardashian looking home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's very minimalist.
White. I'm gonna start calling your couch Lisa Ray.
Yes. She's very.
She serves a purpose.
She's comfortable, right?
Like Lisa Ray.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if she's comfortable, but
no, we're comfortable with her.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, she's a staple.
Yes.
In all white.
Yes. You know, I gotta be honest with you. As much as I hate all white events, I think niggas can't help themselves, and that's fine. But if she were to wear another color, I would feel a way.
No, I want her to bust out in a nasty yellow.
No. Like it would be like,
Oh.
Like I'm sure because she's a very beautiful woman, but I'm just like, like it'd be like if Adele came out with an album named like, Dutch or something instead of like 35. Like, you know what I mean?
Adele popped out in cornrows with a mesh tank top on. She already did that to us.
That's because,
Today we're talking about white crimes.
Yes. We are.
Mm-hmm.
Like we said last week, we were here in LA. Well, obviously I live here. Jade's here. She had the dinner party, Getting Grown Live. Unfortunately, that did not happen, as you saw.
Yes, it's rescheduled for August 8th. Okay, so you still have an opportunity to buy tickets.
Yes. Since last week we didn't tell you everything that happened, so like what happened to our week this week? We could just start off and tell you things exactly because we have to tell you about the whites only grocery store.
Oh, and the man who does porn.
Yes, yes.
I came back to the crib and I told XD and Chris Rogers, LA is such a fascinating place. Right? You would think like New York, like we see so many things, and we do, but it's a different type of fascinating, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I came back. So I went to the supermarket, the whites only supermarket. I went to Mini. I went to the Korean.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the whites only.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the nigga store. Like I went to every demographic.
Yeah.
There was I'm not gonna call him a young man.
No, he was
I would
not.
like to call him an old man, but I don't think so. I think the fillers have distorted time. So the fillers and the lineage. So I was unsure of age.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fillers.
And
he was bagging up my groceries. And I love when white people bag up my groceries.
It's a little slice of reparations
it
that
is.
we can.
It's like, no, you can have some more, please. Oh. But he was bagging up my groceries, and I was like, intrusive thoughts were running through my head. And I said, damn, you got a lot of fillers. Like a lot. Like that's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. You bagging up my groceries. This is elite classes and egregious elitist conversation, but super self-aware.
Yeah.
I'm like, you bagging up my groceries with all these fillers. Do porn. So I came back to the house and I said, LA is such a fascinating place. I proceed to tell them what I just told you all. And so XD goes, yeah, he has an OnlyFans. I said, no, he does porn. That was the face and the occupation of a person who was doing porn.
Yeah, like adult films.
Yeah, like in a particular hotel used as a set with a particular director.
Yeah, like he's a part of a studio.
The director has a mustache and a mullet. And they've been doing it a long time.
Yeah.
And they sell the physical videos at places with, close to highway truck stops and things.
Yes. At like, what's it called here?
Adult books.
Yeah. Or there's a place here that has the actual romantics.
Yeah.
So there is we'll call it a store because they do vend things there. So yeah, they have like the traditional like.
If you can buy videos, you can buy straps. Yeah.
Yeah, all that.
Yeah,
so they have the videos and all the other tools and accoutrement that you would need to get your jollies off or whatever. But they also have a theater.
Oh, it's a deluxe.
So again, it's off the side. It's off the beaten path. And it's funny because I had went in there. Just look around.
You have to every night. Me and Tristan did not too long ago.
Yeah. And we go inside, we look around, and when I tell you, there's like a schedule. Think TV Guide, and you have to go online or figure out the times of certain things or whatever.
Oh, to see what your preference.
Yes, yes. Or when if it's
or time. Like the movie theater.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't want to see everything.
And at that particular time, there was a flick playing, and there was a couple of people who were waiting in line to flick things too. And
justice for Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah, I really want to watch his doc.
Because, let me not say that too quick because I don't know everything.
He was like in a relationship with a black man for like almost 30 years.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, we need to watch his documentary. Let's do that for an ABC show. Well, based off of what I know, justice for Pee Wee Herman. You know, like how we have all this weed reform now, and there's a lot of innocent black men locked up for small amount marijuana. I'm not even gonna call them crimes, fractions in society. But now, niggas are rolling up on camera right now.
Yeah.
So
with legal marijuana,
and we have to talk about like the dissonance in that. Yeah. I can imagine, like, why have a space if you know what I'm saying? Like, this is like, what are we?
I've always had complicated feelings about adult theaters.
Now, from a Virgo's germ stance,
yes,
fully get it.
Yes,
fully get it. But what are we in here? We just in here to like build up the tension until we can get back to the room.
Yeah, I mean, essentially because you get into this idea of like public decency and. Whatever that means.
I was like, what the fuck is public decency when we're all in here collectively watching the bean flick?
Right. Or like how like in certain, like in New York, how it's legal for women to walk around topless.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, at what point do you draw these lines?
Mm-hmm,
you know what I mean? Is it just rooted in, sexism or whatever phobias? But then it's also like,
White men love titties, and that's always been my
But even
bottom line on why that is a legality. It's always something that works out to their favor.
yes, but I'm also like a lot of how do I say this? A lot of heterosexual men engage in sexual acts with other perhaps heterosexual men.
SSA.
Yeah, men who have sex with men. So
MSM.
MSM, that's the term or the acronym.
That could be a network.
I'm always curious, like even like how Republicans like always are so anti-gay or whatever, and I'm like, but you all engage in
Baby,
this?
let me tell you
This
something.
goes back to cutting off, biting their faces. Right?
Wait, hold on. To your point, and I want you to finish it. When the Republican National Convention was going down, they said Grindr was so fucking busy.
Yeah.
It shut down.
Yeah.
like the shit crashed.
Yes. Like every time there is a RNC, the apps go nuts.
Yeah. Because they ready to suck dick and cock. And if y'all would just say, man, I like to suck dick and cock, you know what I'm saying? Stop trying to block other people from sucking dick and cock. Stop trying to kill people because they like to suck dick and cock in public, and you're ashamed because you don't like to suck dick and cock in public, or say you like to suck dick and cock in public. I add cock in there because that's what y'all use.
Or now they use hog. Cranking the hog. What you doing tonight? Cranking that hog. Like that's their term now.
Every once in a while they have a gym.
Yeah. You know. Every time I see it, I'm like
that's
it makes me giggle.
It does. It does. I'm milking the cow tonight. See the intrusive thought.
Exactly. Well, let's pay some bills first. Then we'll go on. Again, thank you for listening each and every week. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. Please subscribe to us on Patreon, $9.99 to $12.99. You choose your own adventure. There's way too many things on there for us to recap and count on. There's almost 2,000 pieces of content on there. We've been doing Patreon since 2017. So join the fun. We're talking about Never Ever Mets on there. OWN keeps up the mess. Okay.
Oprah's Outlaw Network.
Yeah. And so that's where we've been having a wang dang down to the Patreon. As well as some other stuff is going on. So just join. It's a good time. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Like, comment, and subscribe, and click that notification bell so that you can hear and see whenever we post something. Follow us on the socials. I think that's it. All right. Let's take a break and we'll be back with more Jada and XD at home. Hit it, Claude. And we're back here at home at my Chris Nai. Remember when we used to do nizzle and shizzles and things? Is Nai. Shout out to Scrappy.
Was that Scrappy or was that?
He was in the Chris Nai. Snoop was the Izzles and the
He was the Izzles, yeah.
Yes, and that's what crossed over into
Scrappy
white folks.
was the Is Nai.
Yeah, and white people didn't catch on. And that's why I appreciated Is Nai.
Yeah, I think we have to bring that back every now and again.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything we
Love and Hip Hop is still on television?
I, from time to time, catch a commercial.
Fascinating.
And I'm shocked every time.
New people in Yandy.
New faces in Carly Red.
Really? She's still on there?
Yeah.
When I watched the little scene that I had no idea what was happening or who those people were.
Yeah. I don't know who
But
anybody
I knew
is.
Yandy and him coming in the scene, and I was like, Yandy's here. Okay.
I told you when you all showed me the BET pre-show, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
One of the young ladies performed, and another one performed, and they're lovely, right? All of them. They're all lovely ladies. Normani, Coco Jones. I root for them. Gorgeous girls, talent. I'm not really tuned into their musicalities, though. You know what I'm saying? And I wonder if like that's how my mother was when like Amerie came out and Ashanti and who the fuck else?
Now let's backtrack for a little bit. Because we haven't chatted. Did you watch Amerie's NPR performance?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How did, as a Black woman, how did that make you feel?
As a Black woman is insane.
Normally I say as a person of color, but I needed to be more specific.
It made me feel like, we can do what we love and love what we do. But, it just, when we do that, it just takes some like, brushing up. Sometimes we just have to, how I went back to culinary school at 38.
Yeah, people have ring rust.
We have to sometimes hone our technique a little bit. Sometimes we've got to sharpen the tools before we pop out and show niggas. And I so, agree, 100%. So I root for she. And I love this resurgence. You know what I'm saying? For her, if this is what she so desires. That tiny desk was a fucking mess. And those background singers don't like her.
No. There are people in your circle, sister, that are praying for your downfall.
It is. I have rarely, if ever, walked away from a performance and said, what was up with the background singer? Background singers be having their shit the fuck together, okay? They'll tell you when something sounds off. They sounded off and they didn't tell it when she was vocal. How many times did we practice in the garage before we did this?
Hello.
But maybe, as she's having her resurgence, it will continue. She'll get her momentum back, because sometimes, we be a little rusty with shit. Like, I used to be a runner. I cannot go out there and do what I once upon a time did, but I'm going to have to start somewhere. So
if it involves running, it does not involve me, but I hear you. Yes. But yes. Amerie, to be fair, because I watched that and I was like, and then right after that she did BET, the live for the 106.
She had a little titty dress on, and I was like,
Here's the thing, I mean?
Yeah, I could have put on a necklace or something.
In defense, not too much of, but in defense of, those songs were way too hard for her to sing back as it.
The Rain, yes. Which is why we really didn't need Jennifer Lopez singing them.
No.
Because we just needed Amerie.
Yeah, we barely needed her. She was a placeholder until Beyonce finally decided to go solo.
I like how everybody's, but anyway.
We're just calling things the thing here. You know what I mean?
Everybody be like, I was supposed to be, no, you wasn't, because God would have made you that.
Exactly. Bingo. But you know what I mean? Like, so she already was set up from the start. Like, I don't know why she didn't drop those keys. You know what I mean? Like, we get it. You 40 plus now. No one's expecting you to be singing, screaming like you were in your early 20s.
Come on. Let's neo-soulize one thing. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. Pull the lyrics up.
Okay. That's it.
Oh, trying to let it go.
Trying to let my feelings show.
Trying to keep it just like before.
And something.
Don't want to tell you what it is.
Something it felt so serious.
Got you thinking just too much. I wanna set it all. Oh,
It's just one thing you got me tripping.
Hey.
It's just one thing you got me tripping. It's just one thing. Nobody did it. It's just one thing you did. Oh. Yeah, just drop the key.
See, you just you know what I'm saying? Add a little flute or something behind.
Yes.
You know. Mm-hmm.
You know. Speaking of flute, I didn't realize that Andre 3000 dropped another album with a different instrument. Mm-hmm.
Seven piano sketches. Okay, I did not realize this either. Bluffing in the snow.
Bluffing in the snow.
Did you ever have a relative with a piano or a keyboard?
I was the real relative with the piano with a keyboard.
So I was the cousin who would come over and I would be doing
I brought that up before.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Hold on. I needed to see what else is on here. Hold on. Wait.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're getting a little jazzier. Okay, next track.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes,
okay,
new music.
What were you?
We allow our legends to just do any fucking thing, and I hate it. Because
you gonna hate me at 70, baby.
And I'm not saying we need to force our legends into boxes and things. But I also think
we be giving niggas a lot.
You give them a lot. I say the same thing about that one lady who has that one album and an unplugged album.
No, I'm gonna keep disagreeing with you on that.
I'm not saying that she's untalented. I think she's a wonderful artist, but I do think that we give her a little too much for just that one studio album.
I'm not because I'm not doing this.
I'm just saying, how can I measure somebody? Anywho, back to Andre 3000. I think even with the flute album, I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, it was.
Art is subjective, I guess. But I also think people try to convince hope.
No, you're not wrong. Like okay. we go. Everybody's riding off the wave. Like this is like we love Andre, right? But yeah. You're right. 7 nights in a row sold out at the Blue Note is nuts. When it's like do. You're not wrong. Like it would be like if I got on my recorder and then all of a sudden it was like Jane, and I'm like, nigga, I keep selling out. Like
and all you did was play Three Blind Mice on the fucking recorder.
Or Lean on Me. Like it's the only song I can play on the piano. That's it. So it'd be Lean on Me in so many chords. Like No, you're not wrong. And I love him. And I was part of the problem. I tried to get tickets to the Blue Note, but I'm not going to not call it what it is. I mean, we is in band. You know what I mean? We is in band in 6th grade.
Literally that.
Did we pay bills?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, okay.
But I think you have a story to tell about an Asian person.
It wasn't
hard A.
Okay, so y'all know how XD be running around the mall screaming at people, "You're not white."
Jade had to experience that. Why I do that? Why
in Los Angeles? So I'm in the venue. Hold on. Where you been?
Also, my phone is not ringing.
Restart it. Anyway, what's the white lady name? The white lady who scammed everybody. She pretended to make all of that equipment. Was it cancer equipment?
Oh, girl.
It was like a blood testing machine. Her name was Elizabeth Holmes.
Elizabeth Holmes.
There's a billboard right outside my building.
Okay. We're talking about white lady crimes on the show today. So out of control.
Out of control.
Okay. All right. Thank you, my love. All right. Bye.
Yeah. We'll get to white crimes in a minute.
Yeah.
But I mean, even though this is an Asian crime, it's still a white crime.
So anyway, I'm in the venue and I'm working out of 2 kitchens. So I'm going back and forth. I'm in the space and this lady comes in and she said, and I was like, "Excuse me, there's a sign on the door, mind you." I said, "Excuse me, there's a private event here today. Like I have the space fully booked. Like I just need to use the bathroom." Bitch, what does that have to do with anything I just said? And I was like, "I just told you that it is a private space today. You need to go to another bathroom. I can't just use the bathroom." I'm in the throes of stuff, so I don't have time to be going back and forth with you. I already said what I said. I said, "You know what? Pee, and this is it. Don't come back in here." So she pees. She leaves. So I'm doing stuff, and I leave out to go to the elevator, and I'm standing there, and she's in a seat to the elevator this direction. And I hear her talking shit to this white man that she's sitting there with. And then I just said, "I just need to use the bathroom." I'm standing there and I walked down and stood right by her table and I said, "You're talking shit, but you are the one who's wrong here." I was like, "You're not going to make it seem like I am the issue. I told you that it was a private space today. The issue is really like you had a tone issue." I said, "I didn't have a fucking tone. You have an entitlement issue." I was like, "I got a tone once I stated what my clear response was, and then you decided you wanted to push back on that. So instead of trying to check my tone, why don't you check your entitlement? The fact that somebody is telling you this space is private and you think that I can just go do whatever I want." I said, "Do I walk up into your spaces and use your fucking bathroom?" So she's just looking at me. And I was like, "Check yourself." And the employee there was a black man, and he was like, continued to type on his computer. And I went on about my business. And that bitch still could have been talking shit. I don't give a fuck at that point. But I'm going to correct you. I want you to walk away from this and see, you think that you deserve to walk up any and every fucking where that you want to walk. And that's not what type of time we on. Right. We don't do that to y'all. We don't come up in your shit.
No.
Ooh. I wanted to smack the fucking fire out of her.
Yeah. That was total disregard of space and complete display of entitlement. Mm-hmm. And that's why I do the things I do out in Glendale, because they need to be reminded. You know what I mean? Like, and especially now more than ever, like and y'all know why. I don't even need to explain.
No, but also,
yeah.
No, like, check your fucking self. We are living in the midst of fire. And let's be clear. Your mother, your father, yourself, your brother, your sister can get snatched the fuck up too, bitch. Yeah. Check yourself. Yeah. And we're not saying you're not white in a way where it's like they're up here. No, they think they're up here and y'all think y'all are up here too and everybody else is down here. And fuck out of here with that. Yeah. So then what made it funnier was later on, I'm talking to Chris Rogers and he was he was going to pick something up for me out the building. So I said, "Is there still an Asian bitch sitting there?" And he was like, and I just said it because she was Asian. She was a bitch. And he was like, no, she's not there anymore. But I'll be back. So come to find out, right around the corner at the elevator, I didn't see because I'm 38 hot yelling out the door. It's an Asian lady and her kids. So all I hear is this voice from somebody going, "Is there an Asian bitch out there?" He said, he told the lady, "I'll take the next elevator." Woo!
Oh my goodness. Well, let's take a break and we'll talk about white on white crimes after this. Hit it, Claude. And we're back. Yeah. So, well, this is a white crime. So,
yeah, because we're never gonna let you all forget that you all are the original criminals.
yeah.
While you sitting up here trying to criminalize everybody else for just existing, you're the original criminals.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, you know what pisses me off about like, and I know this is a meme, but like this rang true the other day. Like, I watch a lot of cooking videos, like a lot of just gonna like food and watch the process of stuff. And I was watching this white lady, this British lady make something. And I was like looking in pure disgust. Like I was just like, I'm fascinated because what she thinks she's doing is like culinary. Like, you know what I mean? Like she thinks like she's getting like Tatiana Janice, let's get culinary. Like that's what she was doing. However, I thought and sat and realized like y'all did all this stealing and pillaging and trading.
Oh wait, hold on. I'm about to play. I'm listening.
For spice and salt and sugar and all that, and you continue to use it to like disrespect food and not use the spices that you stole.
Wait, hold on. Where is it?
Like it's fascinating to me.
Did we? I want you to. Oh my God. Hello. Did I not save it? That's whack. Anyway, it was this young man. He was of Arab descent.
Mm-hmm.
And he put all the emoji flags, every last one except any European flag. Mm-hmm. He put the trans flag. He put the pirate flag. He put every flag of everywhere else. And it was a stitch. So the original video is a French chef who's like, if you look at this and you say, where is the seasoning? Then you didn't. And he and it would. Then he responded and was like, if you don't know, if you steal these people for the spices and you don't know how to use them, then why are you disagreeing?
That's what I'm saying. It's like a meme. And I was really sitting there like, yo, that's so true.
And do you want to know one of the spices that they robbed, pillaged, and stole niggas for? Pepper. And yet and still.
A white crime.
Yeah.
Food.
Yeah. Ooh, I have some OG white crimes.
Okay.
So, you know, there's a lot of outlaw mud show white women of the 17th and 18th century who was out here doing all kinds of shit. Do you know, so, you know, they love, you know, when they want to call us ghetto and follow us around stores and all kinds of things, they need to look back into their history. Okay. So Moll Cutpurse, born Mary Frith, was notorious in the 17th century London. She began Moll, M-O-L-L, Moll Cutpurse. Okay. But she was born Mary Frith.
Okay.
So she began her life of crime as a common pickpocket. Okay. Then she expanded her territory and became a highway robber dressed in men's clothing.
I love an enterprising woman.
Finally, after a stint in jail, she opened a shop in London that she used as a cover for selling stolen items.
Okay. An enterprising queen.
Yeah.
But still, she was stealing from her own kind.
Which is fine by
which
me.
is fine.
Yeah, in that sense. Not
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, no, but in that world, and you
Because
know,
I feel like, she was
she
stealing in
she was
London. Yeah, you were only stealing from
shillings and whatever they described in
porridge
Ebenezer
and
Scrooge.
yeah. What did Scrooge McDuck? What was he rolling around in? Rubies. I don't know.
Oh, when
pennies.
he was diving in coins,
gold
and
coins,
stuff.
and yeah. I don't mind when they rob each other.
No, that's fine.
Yeah,
like Martha Stewart did. So
she just refused to snitch. She wasn't really robbing anybody.
Yeah, well, somebody snitched and said, you should get your money out, girl, and she did. And legally, you're not supposed to do that. However, it happened, and she didn't want to snitch on who did it, so she went to jail.
What about all those white ladies still in college?
My favorite story, because I will never call. You need to answer.
Oh, perfect. We should be done recording by then. Yeah, we'll make a plan as soon as you get here. Okay. See you in a bit. All right.
What was I talking about?
White lady still in college.
Oh yeah, my favorite story. With Felonious Hoffman and
Becky.
Yes, on Criminal.
Was Laura Dern a part of that?
No, she wasn't.
Oh, why do I always attribute to her still in college too?
She looks like the type, but she did it.
Okay, fair.
But no, it was Felicity Huffman and Aunt Becky. Desperate Housewives, American Crime, not American Crime Story, American Crime. William H. Macy's wife.
Oh yeah, okay.
And Aunt Becky is married to Massimo, which even was like,
how are y'all too rich to be still in college?
Too much money.
Like, this is crazy.
Like, y'all steal education. Like, that's fucking nuts.
I see why I thought it was Laura Dern.
Yeah,
they look to stay both.
Yeah, but they stole, not even stole, like they flubbed so that they can scam their kids into USC or whatever top colleges or whatever.
They stole college.
Which is so dumb because we've all learned that white women go to college not to learn.
Okay, because they go to find husbands.
Exactly. Y'all have money already. Like, y'all don't need...
They either go to find husbands or explore. Or both.
Or they do something frivolous and come like
you know what college is for white women? Outside of like matchmaker, make me a match. What did I say? The Amish rump shaker? Rumpelstiltskin?
I forget. Rump something.
Rim digger.
A rum digger. That's what it was called.
Right?
Yeah, I think it was a rum digger. I think that's what we found.
What's the holiday when Amish people get up?
Oh my gosh.
First of all, Google recognizing Rumspringa.
Yeah, Rumspringa.
Yes. That's where they let the Amish kids run off and get bucked in the world. But that's really what college is for white women. Like, is Love Island and Rump Shaker.
Yeah. It's like hedonism.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, sure, there's some, and I'm sure there's people going to be like, oh my gosh, how can you say that? But we all know statistically that's true.
Also, like, I hope their kids in a couple of years assess and be like, hold on. My mother called me stupid.
Yeah. My mother called me inept. Incapable.
Like, I can't even...
My parents didn't believe in me at all.
No. So she scammed before we even had a chance.
I
Unless
had a chance to prove myself.
unless she already knew the kids were, unless they already knew the kids were failures.
So in that case, she was being a decent mother.
I mean, by any means necessary. You know what I mean?
I
I was like, would I do it?
Because if you
No,
know
they're not
your-
letting no
if
niggas still
if
college.
you know your kid is not special in education, then don't steal education. You encourage them to do other things like underwater basket weaving.
Hell, a trade school.
Exactly. Refrigerator college.
This is what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be, and there's no shame in being a celebrity plumber. I honestly think that's a wonderful idea. You can get a full
I've
show
never
on
heard of it
HGTV.
before. Hello, it's niche.
Hello. You can have a whole podcast about it. You know what I mean? Like, imagine, like, Patrick Schwarzenegger didn't get to be a movie star. He just became like.
Is that
an
the white boy?
electrician.
That's from White Lotus?
Yes. Arnold Schwarzenegger's son.
He really should have been on Wall Street because that's what he looks like.
Mm-hmm. Which is so funny because he don't look like his son, but the one he had with the maid do look exactly like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
The maid son?
Oh, you didn't know the scandal?
No.
White crime girl. So, Arnold Schwarzenegger was married to the Rottweilers family, the Kennedys. The
Oh.
Yeah. So he married Maria Shriver, right?
Okay.
So whatever, blah, 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 blah. Married, they had Patrick Schwarzenegger and their daughter, whatever. However, around the same time that Maria was pregnant with Patrick, or their daughter, I believe, he was creeping with the maid. The maid did not tell him that it was his baby. One day, Arnold was just looking around at the child and was like, this looks familiar. I'm looking in a mirror. And if you look at him now, he looks exactly like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Old Ord.
His name is like Joe something. He doesn't have the Schwarzenegger name, obviously.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, Project Twin, because they are Project Twins.
Also, that's a Bible story.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember the
also the biggest chronicalization of white on white crime.
What?
The Bible.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Judas, Jesus.
Because remember the lady who was married to the man who was supposed to be the father of all the nations?
Mm-hmm.
She couldn't have no babies. So she was like, you got to go have a baby with the maid.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had a baby with the maid. And then those babies were going to be blessed too. But then she got pregnant on the miracles. And, little miracles. And then they had Project Twins. So now they both blessed lineages. And then now she's like, nah, fuck that nigga because now I had a baby.
Bible stories is strange.
Hold on. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Kid with maid. Oh, Terminator 7. Oh.
He looks exactly like.
Oh, that's
Governor
the maid.
Schwarzenegger.
That's crazy. Also, like, I'm not mad at her. You know what I mean? And I'm sure she's getting paid.
Oh yeah.
But like, you just like this is problematic and misogynistic. And
it's okay.
So my mom was a hoe. Like,
my
mom was fucking on her boss at work.
Hey,
I mean,
that's the truth, though.
For lack of a better
true.
my mom was fucking on her.
I think that, yeah. Like all these people and like, yeah.
When my mother used to be a massage therapist and she had like football player clients and actors and stuff, every time she come home, me and my sister would be like, did you massage their butts?
Grow up. Oh, valid question though. Yeah.
And she'd be like, yeah, massage their butts as part of it. We'd be like, we look at her a little different. So I wonder if like a whole kid,
Yeah.
like you knew they was fucking on each other. You'd be like,
this is what I talk about on reality TV, like on Never Ever Mets or whatever, right? Like there's going to be a point, or Love After Lockup, there's going to be a point where your child is going to watch this and have horrible opinions about
I
you
told
as a
you,
human being.
Kaylani's children are going to revolt against her.
Like that's
you lied on 3 of us, and then the baby's gonna be like, "Bitch, my belly button didn't fall off."
Yeah, yeah,
and you was up here making pottery with a nigga who don't like you.
Yeah, yeah.
Pumping for what? What was we doing with what were we doing with the milk?
Like you abandoned me to be with a man that don't like you, and it's on documented on 10 hours on Oprah Winfrey's network
for 10 episodes to the very last minute, where if that nigga would have said yes, you would have said yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So your mother chose the dirty over you, and
I'm just saying,
you know,
we watch little complexes develop every day.
Exactly, a white crime on white
little
crime.
complexes develop every day.
Let's take a break.
Yeah,
hit it, Claude.
They've developed every day.
And we're back. Talking about white on white crimes. Mm-hmm. White crimes. Because they don't necessarily... Well, they're white on white crimes.
Sure. Some, for the most part.
But I...
Well, their largest crime is not white on white.
Yeah. I wanted to bring up a crime that you probably haven't heard of, but it's in your world and in mine.
Okay.
So, do you know who Rocco DiSpirito is?
No.
Okay. So, Chef Rocco was a very famous chef in New York about 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. He had a show called The Restaurant on NBC and Bravo. It had, I think, like Vanderpump Rules, because it focused on him and Carla Lali Music, who was on, anyway, she's a chef. And then it focused on like this wait staff. So it was kind of, the reality TV drama, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But Chef Rocco was the also like, they're trying to pit him as like the hot version of Gordon Ramsay. So, anywho.
Yeah, because Gordon Ramsay looked like a British grandmother.
What's that lady who won Britain's Got Talent? Susan Boyle. Like if you put a wig on what's his face on Gordon Ramsay, he looked like Susan Boyle.
Oh, him.
Mm-hmm. So he had a show called The Restaurant, and the restaurant, it was called 22nd. It was a Flatiron, and like it was a volatile ass show. But him and the financier, like the person who backed the restaurant, got into it. Like publicly and famously on the show. And it got to the point where, and this is when reality TV was severely outlawed, because there was a injunction by the court where Chef Rocco was banned or barred from the restaurant. However, he tried to break in and film
his own restaurant.
Yes, because he was a co-owner, and then like the other owner came was on camera like, "What the fuck, you guys filming?" So he had to get police escorted out. It was crazy
on the show.
Yeah.
Oh, we might need to watch this on an ABC show.
Super buried. I found it on YouTube at the beginning of the pandemic.
Okay.
Because it was so funny because I tweeted, because one of the people on there, her name is Carla. She's a chef. You may have heard of her, Carla Lali Music. She's a Brooklyn chef. Mm-hmm. So she was on it. She was a consultant on the show. Mm-hmm. She was kind of a not nice person. And so when I tweeted her and talked to her about it, she was kind of like, yeah, that's a moment in my life that I try to forget. She was like, that was not a good space for me at the time, or that situation. She was like, I'm much better now.
First of all, the restaurant industry is stressful.
Yeah.
And you throw in horrible personalities and high stress environment. Also, if you are young and maybe not at the best.
Ramsay kitchen nightmares, white on white crime.
Oh, that's white on white crime.
Like he is cursing them out and well deserved because they try to kill people with spoiled chicken and shit every fucking night.
Yeah.
But it's always so fascinating how they respond to him.
It's true.
Like they'll get so combative.
Very defensive.
And they'll be like,
very defensive.
And they can't get too mad because it's like,
you're not wrong.
You're not wrong. And it's like, this would be different if there's somebody black, then they would feel away because this is from their motherland. They respect him.
Well, the messenger.
Yeah. It's always the messenger that's the problem. Never the message. Because if I guarantee you right now, say for example, and this is a large example, walk with me here. Say today, the current president decided to reverse everything and became like what you would call liberal, right? Like restored all our rights, codified whatever the fuck.
Oh, I'd say they're trying to kill us all.
But what I'm saying is how that person could, talks to people, like they would probably go with it.
Yeah, they would, because anything would be better. But also,
but I also get with your sister, like, oh no,
you can't trust this. This is a trap. It's like that new shot y'all were talking about.
Oh yes, the new PrEP shot, which is you get it twice a year. When I last year I went to go get my labs done for my for PrEP or whatever, and so I was talking to my doctor, and he was like, I was like, they have this new shot now that's, at the time, it was an injectable every month. Because sometimes you don't want to, it's like birth control. You don't want to take a pill every day.
Right. Variations.
So my doctor, my doctor is non-binary.
Okay.
And they were like, girl... Normally it was a professional setting, and they were like, "Can I be honest?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they broke the role. They were like, "Girl, don't do that." And they were like, "It just came out. Don't trust no new shit now more than ever.
Especially
go with the tried and true
for the community that they are. One of the communities they are intentionally targeting. It just feels, and I'm not trying to anti-vax nobody. I'm not. No, this is just more of like there are other options for right now that have been around and been proven to be viable. Stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to until there is some evidence. I don't,
I was like, yes, FDA, that's wonderful and great. For me, for moi.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought it was very interesting that my doctor was like, hey, girl.
Sorry, my tinfoil hat was buzzing. Now, vaccines, I'm like, vaccines have been around. There's a reason why you niggas don't have scurvy.
Yes.
There's a reason.
I feel like that's coming. If measles and mumps came back, why wouldn't scurvy or
let me tell you something.
Diphtheria?
Flare leg jeans came back. Chokers. And those came back multiple times.
Everything from Delia's has returned.
Everything from Delia. Those big fat black strap platform sandals.
And they're all on niggas now. They're not on them. Everything that A-shaped came back.
Triangle heels.
The cishet men wear everything from the Delia's catalog, and I hate it. To them ugly ass daisies on the jeans.
Yeah.
Don't let niggas find out about platform jellies.
Everybody said they already have. What do you mean? Katya wore every color of platform jellies.
I'm talking about niggas like the heterosexuals, like the remember when they came out with them ridiculous boots, them red boots that look like they came on
Mickey Mouse
the
boots.
Cat. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm waiting for a nigga like Travis Scott to come out with like platform jellies. You know what I mean? Like they already wear pearl necklaces. They already wear brooches.
Okay.
They already wear.
Grandpa Ruckus is coming out. You're like, they're painting their fingernails. Look at you. Look at you.
I'm tired of queer cosplay from people who aren't queer.
Oh, that. Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
I get its expression or whatever, but no, not it.
Now, let me challenge you.
Okay. I'm
Let me
okay.
challenge you. There's been, I understand we're in Jaded XT. There's been years and years and decades and centuries of misogynoir, and niggas are feeling comfortable to wear shit and do shit.
Mm-hmm.
And if they are advocating for the community whilst also expressing themselves via their Forever 21 fits, what's the
that's very complicated for me to say. the immediate example I went to is women who go to gay bars. There are people who, yes, they advocate for us and all that stuff.
And then there's also your space.
And it's also our space too.
Fair. Okay.
I do think there should be a way for, I don't think masculinity needs to be so rigid. If people want to make those choices and stuff, that's fine. But there are differences. For example, I'm glad
like niggas doing shit for shock value.
Yes, and for feminine gays. Let's chat.
Okay.
So, NLE Youngboy, that if I was a bad bitch, I would fuck me too, or whatever he has that song. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. That's his name, NLE Youngboy.
Mm-hmm. And he's good with the gays. He makes it a point to say, like I love my gay fans and all that stuff. But he also dabbles in, and I hate to say this word queer, but I'm just going to go with that. But he does dabble in queer cosplay.
Okay, what's the name of the song?
If I was a bad bitch, I'd fuck me too. I think that's what it's called.
Let me see. NLE Youngboy, Bad Bitch.
Yeah, I think that's what the thing is called. Yeah, this is him. If I was a bad bitch,
I'd want to fuck me too. Mm-hmm. I need all the bad bitches to. Okay, let me see. Mm-hmm. Bad bitch. We go from Andre 3000's flutes to bad. This is gonna fuck up my algorithm.
Yeah, because you're gonna have a bunch of YN music.
Bad bitch. NLE. Ugh. Why won't you all slut me out?
I think that's what it might be called.
P Baller. This.
Fast forward.
Well.
Sorry, guys, cut this out.
NLE Young. NLE Chopper.
Oh yeah, that's what his name is.
That's it right there.
That's not it either. So
you're right.
But if you look at the way he dresses and stuff, he does engage in.
What's his name? NLE
Chopper.
Chopper.
Slut me out. 2.
Okay, images.
I know the whole audience is like, that's not his name. Y'all know I don't know people's names.
Yeah, because I couldn't search for anything. Okay, this is a Pretty Little Thing set, but it's fine.
But they do all, or even Jeffrey, right? Thugger.
Oh,
that's an example. So like
with the Audrey Hepburn.
You have, because homosexuality, and I won't even say that, because gay is a novelty for some people, that people will utilize it and weaponize it, right? So like, I also think like in NLE case, like, oh yes, I believe that you are leaning into this queer cosplay thing because there are women who believe that is they have fallen in love with their gay boyfriends, or they have considered gay boyfriends, and so that would be something that's acceptable to them, right? I think.
Gay boyfriends. What do you mean?
Let me slow down.
What?
At times, women do not treat gay men as people. They treat them as, this objects. Is my gay.
Yeah.
And that will translate to a novelty act.
Okay.
So these gay boys, or these people who engage in queer cosplay, like Italy Chapa or Jeffrey, will like, oh, this is a gateway. They're feminine. They're in tune with their sensitive side. They are doing this, or this is something I'm familiar with because this feels safe, because this is what I get from my gay friends. Not necessarily recognizing any other element of who they are as a person, right? Or autonomy.
I can see that.
Also, major, the most money you will ever make is off of a horny gay man. So you see a lot of these people leaning into, on Instagram, just leaning into like, and I've always joked about Stragger culture, but there's always like leading into what gay men like because they'll pay for it. So I don't necessarily think, and so yes, there is an element of, yes, you being confident and all that stuff. Like Andre 3000, for example, I don't think he engages in queer cosplay. There was a time, for example, where people thought like, is this queer type of stuff? But it's like, no, these are just niggas from Atlanta.
No.
But you know what I mean?
No, I think they just were
they're just eccentric niggas, right? But this is a clear point of view.
Right. I see what you're saying. Yeah. And there is also always something to honoring people's spaces. You don't need to be a part of every space just because you root.
Yeah.
I don't believe in that.
Right. And so like, yes, I do think there are people like men who can advocate and still engage in like maybe getting their nails done, getting color on their nails and stuff like that. Like I know Dwayne Wade does all that stuff and which is fine, but there is a fine line where you can tell like this is not genuine. And you are just engaging this. You're doing it for the gram.
As opposed to right.
There's also another
this is not your self-expression.
Right. There's also another element of masculinity, this idea of competition. Because if you're not exuding as a pissing contest in that regard, then you're turning it and flipping it around and be like, well, I can use this method of femininity or being queer adjacent to get ahead. Does that make sense? Well, I didn't mean to get sociological, girl, but
no, but they're necessary conversations because there are a lot of fine lines.
Yes.
There are a lot of fine lines.
Yes.
Let's take a break.
Okay.
And we'll come back with more Jada NXT.
Eddie Claude.
And we're back talking about all kinds of shit.
Because we have to talk about, in the words of, and I hate to quote him, in the words of Gerard Carmichael, we have to talk about it. And no, we don't want to talk about it, but we should talk about it. The $260 million lawsuit.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna tell you all a story before we start. So I'm at XD and Chris Rogers' home, and my grandmother calls me.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
And she says, Jade, have you heard of straw? And I said, no, Grandma, what's that? Straw, Jade. You haven't heard of straw? I have a couple questions. So I'm very confused and busy. So I'm like, no, Grandma, I don't know what straw is. With Taraji P. Henson, everybody's talking about it. I said, who's everybody? And who was talking to my grandma? So, no, I'm not saying it like that, but I'm just like, who's like, she ain't on the internet. Like, so I was like, I don't know what that is, Grandma. And she was like, Jade, I need you to watch Straw. And you have to come back and tell me when you watched it because I need you to answer my questions. So they hear this because it's all on speakerphone. And they were like, well, first and foremost, we're going to make you watch Straw.
Yeah.
And second of all, that's a Tyler Perry movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I have to watch a Tyler Perry movie because my grandmother, I've made a promise to my grandmother and she has questions.
She does.
So then I was hip to the current goings-ons of the goings-ons and also the past goings-ons because I didn't know about the previous allegations and lawsuits. You're right. We do need to talk about it because there's multiple aspects here. Because in the words of awful, horrible Curtis Jackson and my mother, in the case of the diddler, my mother calls him the diddler. In the case of Puffy, the emphasis has been too much on sexuality as opposed to his outlandish and egregious crimes.
The emphasis is on the wrong syllable, honey. We have lost the plot.
We've completely lost. Like the plot is floating in the middle of the ocean, never to be found again. Because when it comes to this particular thing, which we will get on in a second, the crime, quote unquote, or whatever you want to call it, is not his sexuality. Mm-mm. That's not the crime. We want to make sure we keep the emphasis on the predatory behavior
and the alleged assault,
and of course that off rip, but also the predatory because from what you all told me before about the one that I didn't know that was paid off and dismissed, allegedly, all of this is predatory behavior. So that's the first problem.
Yeah. All right. So allegedly, or no, not this isn't alleged. Tyler Perry is being sued for $260 million from one of his former actors from The Oval. He alleges in the claim that Tyler Perry sexually assaulted him at Tyler Perry's residence, allegedly. There was some text messages leaked that were suggestive-ish. It led to them. It exposed that they had a dynamic or a relationship. I don't know what type of relationship, but they had some sort of relationship dynamic. They were close.
Yes.
The details are graphic in what's listed in the complaint. Mm-hmm. You can read about it on the interwebs.
Yeah.
This is very complicated. How do I say this without being... There is going to be... We already have an uphill battle in people believing victims, right? Mm-hmm. It's also an even more uphill battle
internally. If you know what I mean, like us as Black folks, we struggle with that, identifying, notifying, dealing with that trauma in our own families and stuff like that, and sweeping stuff under the rug. I also hate to be put in a position that we talk about on the show all the time about when it comes to race and having people, having white folks having to lead the charge, even though that we have said things as Black people have said things about this beforehand and got swept under the rug. So it's super difficult to like digest this, right? Do I believe that something happened? I don't know what happened. But what I can tell you this is indicative of is how he treats actors and why he doesn't have a writer's room. Because he can manipulate everything.
The whole narrative.
The whole narrative. You can, and because Hollywood, and I say Hollywood as the thing, is so, people are so thirsty for work. They all know that if this big celebrity producer is, you know, giving me attention, then I'm gonna do what I need to do to say, to get put on. We all know how this works. We gotta hustle hard.
Yeah.
It just, if you. So yes, I do. I do think that Mr. Perry exerts his power.
I absolutely think that.
But I also think that that particular victim participated a little bit. I'm not saying the actual act that was in question was justified, because it wasn't. And, and the alleged act should be punished. He actually should go to prison for that, honestly, but whatever. If based off what was true. But if you read those text messages, it does, like, well, girl, I leave victims there, and it does paint a gray area.
It's tricky. Yeah. It's tricky, which is why I think the overall focus is, because you never know what you don't know. But I think the overall focus is, no matter what the details are, there is a predatory and manipulative behavior that is being exhibited. And if it's come out more than once, that means that it's definitely happened more than that. Yeah. And like you said, there's no writer's room. There's no monitoring of any sort. There's no systems and protocols in place for what should be for an establishment so large. And there's been so many rumors of questionable behavior of that in multiple worlds that at a certain point, that shit has to be true, allegedly.
Yeah. This is why I'm leaning like, you did that shit. But
like, it is not no bring a black man down bullshit. Now, yeah, it's not no bring a black man down bullshit. That's not what this is.
He was trying to buy a BET.
No, Tyler Perry got a whole motherfucking exit off the fucking highway in Atlanta. Like, that shit says Tyler Perry Studios on the sign on the highway. Like an exit. So this ain't no bring a black man down. He was about to buy nothing. This nigga has a problem. And like many who hold a certain level of power, think that they are invincible to repercussions and ramifications for their questionable behavior. Is there an element where somebody can also take advantage of the person. Let me, no, that's not. Let me. I don't want to. We all know. Maybe we've been them ourselves. Maybe had a time in our life where we might have considered or done unsavory things for the sake of survival.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which then can get you caught up in precarious situations.
I think that's what I was trying to intimate. Yes.
Which doesn't mean that you are at fault.
Yes.
But you also,
there is a level of participation in said.
It's trick. This is
participation in the idea of doing things for survival, whatever that may be.
You should not have to do things for survival.
No, but
and there are people who absolutely are predators and assailants in those spaces.
Yeah.
Like sex work is viable. You can still be assaulted within sex work.
Yes.
So do with that what you will. That's all I'm saying. Like,
yeah, and but, again, this is a, I don't want to say it's an age-old story, but it is not an uncommon one where people are trying to get ahead at work or trying to secure their place at work.
And they're taking advantage of
right
in the course of that.
Because if you're like, oh, if the head honcho is taking a liking to me, of course I'm gonna
use that to my advantage a little bit. Doesn't mean he has the right to
take advantage of me sexually or
to assault me.
No.
But does that mean, like, if the nigga is paying a little attention and I need to pay rent? It's like when I had Noah, they had no private rooms in the hospital. And I told you my mother came back and she was like, you have a private room now? I said, how the hell did you make that happen? She said, I let the man touch my knee. He didn't have no right to do nothing else, but if she let him touch her knee, she let him touch her knee. That's all I'm saying.
I'm gonna end there. Knee touching. Touch the knee. That's the name of this episode.
You don't have a right to do nothing past touching the knee if somebody's allowing you to touch the knee, right?
Correct.
And the person allowed you to touch the knee. You can't go no further than that.
You only have consent to touch the knee, and
that's
the knee
it.
Only.
That's it. I hope that this made sense.
Until next time, friends.
Bye.
Bye.